Ready?
Good job, all right.
4:30, let's open the meeting of the DuBois County Council. Start with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's start out here. We approve our minutes of February 27th. We're all emailed them. Does anybody have any corrections or additions to these minutes? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of February 27th for the DuBois County Council.
I'll give the motion. Approve the minutes.
I'll second. Okay, we have a first and a second, so.
Who did the?
Brian and Daryl.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We're approved. Okay, first, Mary, if you are ready.
I am. I know Mike asked about Andre. He is with Baker Tilly, and he was able to make it to the last commissioners meeting to talk a little bit about some of the financing questions and things you have. And unfortunately, he was not able to come tonight. He will be here at one of the council meetings next month to kind of answer your all's questions and those types of things. He will also be on April 11th at 1 o'clock. We have our kind of small group meeting, our regular meeting, and he's going to be at that as well. If anybody wants to, attend or come to that and have the opportunity to maybe dig into some more details when it's not, part of an open meeting, you're welcome to attend that because he will be there as well. And that we do in the conference room downstairs at 1 o'clock on April 11th. If you do choose to come, just pop me an email, please, because I usually supply lunch for that. So I'll make sure I have enough lunches for everybody. Basically, and I apologize because there's a typo here that I did not fix. I emailed this out to you all and the commissioners before their meeting. This is the most recent update. And just printed copies for y'all to just kind of review today. If anybody had a chance to look at them. But I think multiple times I list 231 as a county road. Obviously, it's not. It's the state highway. 231 and 59, 56 are both the state routes that will intersect. So I apologize. I've not fixed that typo in here. But other than that, I won't go into crazy detail through this unless y'all have any questions. But basically, I wanted to just kind of give you a summary of what the small group meetings with Jasper have discussed and the important, decisions that were kind of made out of that. I think the biggest thing to look at is on the last page is the legal limits. What we have submitted to IDEM is your proposed legal limits. And basically, it's everything within the county that is not in a separate color. So all the existing sewer districts have been taken out of your legal limits. And then Jasper, because there currently isn't a sewer district that butts directly up to Jasper. So there's space between them and the next district that currently doesn't belong anywhere. Jasper has a 2-mile buffer zone or radius outside of their existing legal limits that they have the potential to expand if they want to. Once the county is formed and that legal entity is complete and done and through item, at that point, that buffer goes away because the county is now right up against Jasper. So that area in blue up here is the area that's currently in their buffer zone that they have expressed wanting to include into their system, because their buffer zone everywhere else will be gone once the county is formed. Does that make sense? So we pulled out this area. I don't think they've necessarily finalized if that's what they want, but so this is what we submitted as their draft. Is we told them we take out whatever they want to take out, but kind of alluded to the fact we highly encourage them to move forward with making that expansion, because if they don't, and it's not in our legal limits, then you're leaving areas of the county that don't have potential for service when, that's obviously the exact opposite of our goal. So that's probably the biggest decision that was made. The PER and the SRF applications are finished and have been submitted last Friday. So they were submitted a little over a week, or last Thursday, a little over a week early. You all should have gotten an email that allows you to download it. It's a pretty large file. If you have any questions or want to set up a call or a lunch or whatever to kind of look through it, I'm more than happy to do that. It is can be kind of a cumbersome document, so just let me know if any of y'all want to meet to do that. The main result of that is these other two map pages that show kind of the main corridor that we have picked for the selected project. You can see, for instance, we list gravity and force main shown, and gravity is shown in blue. Something to take note of, we've got a long 231 there. You can see we've got 5 regional lift stations. We don't actually show the force mains associated with each of those because we basically have force main and gravity running next to each other. So it doesn't show up well. But doing it that way and continuing gravity for pretty much all of 231 gives you the most benefit to be able to connect as many homes and expand from that skeleton, pretty easily. So that's the point in that. That does significantly increase the overall project value. So the one we submitted last year was about 18.5 million. And if you take inflation, because those were actually 2020 numbers, but if you take inflation to take it to 2024, when it will actually be constructed, you're looking at more like 20.5. This project is closer to 30.5. We did go ahead and submit it as our recommended alternative, hoping that we get enough funding. We included the smaller project, which basically does not cover the smaller project. These 2 wings wouldn't be here, but the middle of Hayesville is still included, and a good portion of this is only force main, not backed up with gravity. So it still a really good project, still gives you a skeleton network. All the stations and everything are involved with it are still designed for the full-fledged project. And so our conversations so far with SRF have been, and USDA, since this project changed or increased, I asked them, do we go with the cheaper one? What do we do? And she said, list the cheaper one as an option to PER. That way you can go with that one if we need to, because it's already submitted. Otherwise, she said, we'll either be able to fund the whole thing, or they may split your funding between $2024 and $2025 and ask us to cut into 2 phases. So either way, we felt that the best option was to put forward as much connectivity as possible. If we have to pull it back, we can. So that's what was submitted.
So that's why we went to the 30, I guess, can I ask?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Everything fine.
So that's why we went to the 30, we picked option 1. I guess option 1 is not the preferred option, just so we can see what type of dollars are available. If they can't, then we can go back and not go for the loan costs. And that's option 2, 3, and 4 are still there and viable, but option 1 is preferred.
Correct, yep. Option 1 immediately gives you about 85 additional existing home connections and significantly increases your capability to expand off the network and do an extension down 500 north, or wherever you want to take it. There's an option where you can and we talk about it in the report. There's an option where you can go between Hayesville and Portersville and make a loop and connect those two and get some of those properties between there that have access. So there's kind of unlimited options of where to go with it, but you definitely get 85 current homes that would be additional connections for right now. With the more expensive one.
Going with option 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm guessing then, the reason that Jasper wanted to include the blue or the light blue up top is because that goes to the north side of the proposed new sewage treatment plant.
Yes, that will incorporate the new treatment plant and then everything from between the plant to their existing
Is
system.
that new treatment plant, will that get approved, you think?
They actually have received preliminary discharge numbers. Whether they'll actually be able to meet those requirements, I don't know yet. We haven't seen them. They haven't shared those numbers. But I have been told by their engineers that they have received that.
So that increases the flow of that stream quite a bit.
That's what, I mean,
It's almost all of it.
I know.
I normally, EPA, regardless of what state you're in, normally, they do not allow you to put a discharge point in a stream where the volume of fluid, water, sewage, whatever, clean water, where the volume that you are discharging is even a significant portion of what is existing in the stream, much less significantly more than. I mean, like, we're not even talking about a percentage. We're talking about what they're discharging in the stream is going to be several times what that stream has naturally. And I've never seen them approve one for that. So I was pretty shocked, but yes, we were told that they have preliminary approval
Well, that's good, I
with
guess.
some discharge numbers, which is wonderful to hear. And the only, I guess, thing I can think of is that IDEM knows just how critical this project is to the area, especially this first one with the environmental issues in Hayesville, and probably weighed it. And Jasper is a known entity. They've had treatment plants, they've managed them, they have history to show that, if you give them a limit, they'll manage it and do it. So that's the only thing I can think of is that that's why they were able to get it. I can guarantee you, we would not have been able to get a discharge on that with being a new entity, and I don't think we would have at all.
Have they nailed down the location yet? I know there was a couple options that were still being negotiated. Has it been finalized?
They've narrowed it down to 2 properties,
That's right.
and they're trying to talk between the 2. Yeah. So The next two small group meetings, and Jasper representatives won't attend. They're gonna wait till they find out what's going on. We're gonna keep moving forward because the reality is in order to meet either of the potential schedules, we can't really slow down. So we'll continue meeting and moving forward with our side of it. The milestone and project schedule that's in here, that is the worst case scenario schedule that we've been functioning under this whole time. That's the earliest possible date. As our rep asked us to have everything ready. I will say in the last week, a week and a half that I have been talking with SRF, especially with the change in the size of the project. I feel extremely confident that they are going to move us to the next quarter. So we're going to at least have 3 months added to this schedule, possibly 5. So we'll see, that will extend some. Any questions?
Yes, I got 2 things.
Sure.
One of the application, is that I wasn't able to download it, I guess too heavy.
It took me about 20 minutes when my computer finally got it.
I mean, how many pages is that? Is that a big document? I mean, it's hard copy?
240.
Okay.
The application itself is like 3 very basic pages, but the PER is connected to that, and that's what the document. At the April 11th meeting, I will have 3 printed copies for the county.
That's what I was asking.
Yes.
We could have, that we could review it if we needed, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. She was planning to print and bind them yesterday so I could bring them today, and we had some difficulties with our printer getting along with us, so I will have them at the April 11th meeting. So you'll have hard copies available.
I mean, the other thing is, I guess we better not exceed over 3 people at that council, at the April 11th meeting.
Oh, yeah, I
So
didn't
we
think
can't-
about
we
that.
can't have just everybody there, that's not gonna work. I mean, I don't think it should work. I mean, I think it's, so I don't know, I guess, naturally I was gonna be there, and so whoever else, 2 other people,
Mhm.
so. That's really all I had.
Sandy, were you able to download the PER?
I think I started it, but it so I had to
Okay,
cancel so I could move on.
when I come to the April 11th meeting to bring the hard copies, I'll bring a copy of the PER.
I was gonna ask if you bring my flash drive, that way I can get it on the website.
Yep, that would be awesome. Yeah, so I'll bring a flash drive to that meeting for that.
Because I think that's how we did the plan the first time.
It is. Yeah, so I'll do that again. I will say, like, the next, major steps and milestone is to start this negotiation with SRF, get our USDA rural development application in. We're starting to work on the environmental requirements for that. We've met with them a couple times to get what the details are of those environmental requirements. And we need to start ironing out the second half of the contract here within the next 60 to 90 days. So we can start working on land acquisition issues and easements and all of those things that weren't in this contract. So the second phase of the contract, I guess.
Any questions for Mary?
And I guess I'm cutting you, I do if it's okay. I guess what I was just kind of curious, with SRF, and I don't know if now's an appropriate time or what, with the cost of the project going up, is this all gonna still kind of be revised, the whole project kind of be rolled up and come through the regional sewer district for all the funds, including the treatment plant? Or that'll be,
Jasper will have its own award and agreement with SRF separately
that will be separate.
for their facilities. They evaluate it is all because they know that they're connected. But the actual numbers and everything will be completely separate. You'll have your own agreements and all of that. They will look at, when they're looking at how much grant and how that all works out, they do look at the fact that about 20% of Jasper's improvements are capacity that you're purchasing basically. And so generally in that, in those projects, the user of that capacity pays for that portion of the initial infrastructure. So that's what they'll look at, and SRF will take care of those numbers to make all that work out. But you will not have any type of joint agreement.
So that's what I was curious about. So like our 30 million, if you will, for the county, the regional sewer district portion, is it disclosed already do they have estimates on the city's portion, or has that not been disclosed yet, or, I'm just curious.
I think it has been. It's about 14.5 million in your construction costs and a little under 18 million total project cost is what they're expecting.
Including all the engineering, design, and all that.
Numbers that they gave me last. I'm
Well,
pretty sure
yeah.
that that's what his was made public, but I can't.
As scary it is, we're roughing it right now. We're just in rough millions, I guess.
I thought, during the public meeting that Jasper had, I thought they presented them.
Is that okay? I wasn't able to make that, so I didn't know. Okay, they did.
I thought that, they had numbers there,
So it's a combined roughly 38 at this point.
38.
Or 48.
48.
48, sorry, bad math. Okay, all right.
As always, don't hesitate to reach out to me if something comes up later. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you for the
Oh, absolutely.
presentation. Carla?
I'm way off.
Yeah, I am. So I don't have any big asks or anything this evening. I just, I like to try to come to a meeting once a year, and I think I missed last year, but we've got a lot of new members. So I'm just going to kind of go over a little bit what the solid waste district is. Typically, I go over kind of our numbers from the year before and kind of what we did. I'm not going to go into that as much as I am just kind of what the solid waste district is a little bit. But so first off, I'm Carla Striegel Winter. I know I have met all of you guys, but with the solid waste management district. So the solid waste management district is not a part of county general, okay? But the council has a binding review of our budget. So we have our own governing board that is made up of elected officials in DuBois County. One of those is Sonia. She is our representative from the council. So we have all three commissioners that are required to be on our board, a county council representative from the largest town or city, which is the mayor of Jasper, a representative from the council of the largest town or city, and that is Chad Legan that is on our board. And then a representative elected official from one of the incorporated municipalities that is not the largest town or city, and that is Ken Seeker from Ferdinand, who is on our board. So that's our governing board. And just to kind of give you guys an idea that we are enmeshed with the county, but we are not out. We're not part of the county general. So we're not really a department of the county. Our employees are paid through the county, and we have like the county insurance and typically through a lot of the county stuff, but we are a little bit different. So just to kind of let you guys know that. And then I just kind of wanted to go over a couple of things. So the little recycling brochure that we have here, that covers the county sites as well as the solid waste management district process center. So not really going to go over that with you, but just kind of that has our little kind of yellow updated sheet for 2023 in it. We do some
different projects along with some other organizations in the county. So I've got our spring medication collection day coming up. That's an important one. Would love for you guys to put that up in your office or on a table somewhere or something. Let people know about that. And then we also are involved with Patoka Lake Cleanup Day, and we have several of our elected officials that like to join in on that every year. And so that is the Patoka Lake Watershed Committee, which I'm a member of that. And so we've been involved in that as well for several years. We are hiring right now, and my best part-time people have been referred from county employees. So if you know of anybody who might be interested, we do have that position open right now as well. So if you just want to look at this little packet here, I'm just going to go over just a couple of little things on that so you have an idea what we do for the county. And those of you guys who have been around for a while, it's just kind of a reminder. And those of you who are a little bit newer may have some new information here. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at any time. Our phone number is right here on this brochure, right there. So just ask for me, and any questions you have, I will be more than happy to answer. So the Solid Waste Management District, we do manage the Process Center, which is just outside of town. And I love, Charmaine said this one time when I think when she was first had come on. I've been here since 2014 as the director, but she said, yeah, you guys take the oddball items. So what I like to say is, yeah, we take the oddball items at the Process Center. We fill a niche. And so we try to fill in the gaps of any waste that the drop sites in the county, the 8 drop sites within the county, are not able to take. So we are the place that takes all the electronics, the household hazardous waste, the bulbs, all that kind of stuff. So we do that. We're open to the public 5 days a week and 9 Saturdays a year, March through November. So we are open to the public, and we do serve the public in that way. We also have one of our 3 full-time employees. That's myself, our operations manager, and then we have a route driver. We have almost 100 locations throughout the county that we stop, and it's sort of like a commercial route. It's built around all the schools. So we pick up recycling from all of our schools. We fill that in with agencies and businesses as far as picking up recycling from them. Most of that is going to be cardboard, office paper. Some of our cafeterias at the schools do their steel cans. So we do pick up all of that and for our community. So just our recycling routes, that's kind of what that is going over. I won't go over invoices. We also handle the property maintenance ordinance in the county, which is a special ordinance that the county developed in 2019, allows us to deal with some maintenance issues that might be on private residences within the county. So we deal with that. We deal with illegal dumping. So if there's an illegal dump, it's called into us. We go out and try to get that picked up. So that is the Solid Waste Management District as well. We have some other activities I will not go over. If you go to that second page where it says Indiana Gateway, we have a lot of required annual reports that are due at the end of February, just like all government entities do. This one is special to solid waste districts. We call it the SB 131 Act, it just is a nice little document that shows several of the things that solid waste managements do and what we're required to do. So that is just a kind of a nice document that shows a few things. Not going to look at that first page. If you go to page 2 of 2, I'm not going to go over this, but we're allowed to put a note in there. So I make sure, because I know that legislators, et cetera, are looking at this sometimes. And so I put a great big note in it explaining everything that we do for our county. So you guys are more than welcome to read through that if you like. That's sort of my extra note that I'm allowed to add in there. And then I I kind of want to go over the revenue detail real quickly for you guys so you have an understanding where the solid waste management district revenue comes from. Solid waste management districts are, when they were first created and mandated in 1992, it was determined that they would benefit their community in the best way possible for their local community. And so their funding source would be determined by their board. Okay, so some solid waste districts have tax levies. Some of them have set fees that are billed through the regular property taxes. Some of them actually bill residents a set fee. DuBois County has determined at this point, has never done any of those things, but is mainly funded through a request from the county. So every year I will go to the commissioners and say, this is what we would like. So basically our main funding is just a lump sum from the county. So that is another way that we're very sort of enmeshed with the county, is we do depend on the county and where those funds would come from to fund us. So if you look at that revenue detail, we charge user fees at our process center. We try to make sure those user fees are, so, you know, if you have an automotive tire that's going to cost you $4, our vendor charges us $4 to get rid of that. So we just try to break even on that type of stuff. So we charge user fees. So we had 31,000 in 2022 come in user fees. We only have a checking account that is an interest earning checking account. So we don't have earnings on investments and deposits very much. Then other receipts, there's that county assessment. So that's what we requested from the county. So we go to the commissioners, we request that. And then of course the council also says, yes, we will be doing that funding. So that's where the majority of our annual funding comes through. And then other receipts, recycling. So the recycling that we're picking up throughout the community, the recycling that is coming into the solid waste district, some of that we have to pay to get recycled, like the tires, electronics, a lot of that we have to pay to actually get that recycled. But some of it does have an income. Some of our just straight metals, paper, magazines, things like that. So that goes back into our budget. So just kind of an idea where our funding comes from. And I'm not going to go over this last page. And this is the packet that I went over with my board. So sorry that it's probably too much information for you guys and more than you're actually interested in. But I'm not going to really go over these last two pages, but I like to break down the user fees for the board so they can see, are we breaking even? And we didn't quite break even on those this year, but we should be fine for this 2023. And then the backside of that, we are required to report our tonnage. The big things in solid waste management is how many tons of items are you recycling? And the Indiana has a goal to recycle 50% of our waste by, I think, 2025. And, you know, we're recycling 17 to 25, about 17% statewide of our waste. Solid waste management districts are a big part of that, hitting that recycling goal. This just goes over every single thing that we deal with, and I'm not going to go into that, but you can look that over, and if you have any questions, just let me know on that. Then the very bottom part, and one thing that a lot of our residents don't realize, and sometimes other folks don't realize, is the sanitation district. The drop sites, those are actually run through the highway department. The highway department has the sanitation district. And so sometimes you'll see on some of your stuff that comes through solid waste, unless it says solid waste district, that is talking about the sanitation district employees. Okay, so keep that in mind. All 8 of those sites are run through the highway department. We assist with some of the stuff at those sites, the oil filters, antifreeze. We pick things up on our weekly routes, like books, film, plastic, batteries, things like that. But the bottom part there is all of the tonnage of everything that is collected through those residential sites. So again, we're quite enmeshed with those, but those are managed through the highway department. And we work together with Steve Park on those, but that is all managed mainly through the highway department. So that's kind of something different also. A lot of counties don't have that distinction. A lot of counties, it's run through the solid waste district. That's just the way DuPage County's done it, and still choosing to do it that way. So that's the way we are. So I know I've just like, again, if you have any questions or anything, I know I'm already over what my time was supposed to be, but I
Use solar panels, could they take them and replace?
actually, yes. I would have to look into what like kind of charges we would have. They can't take them for free. But we've talked to our e-waste vendor, and they are taking them at this time. And then if we get into the big sort of more industrial stuff, our e-waste vendor is actually working on being a point of recycling for industrial projects as well, because that's a huge thing right now with all of the solar stuff going up, and there's only 2 recycling facilities, actual recycling facilities for those in the entire U.S. And so our vendor is in Indianapolis, and they are working on being one of those places that can right now ship out to Arizona to be actually recycled, but they're hoping to actually get a recycling facility set up either at their home base in Atlanta or in Indianapolis where we internet ours. So the answer is yes. It would be a very oddball item at this point, but yes, our vendor has said that we can do solar panels as part of our electronic waste. So
Any idea on cost? Like if we're talking the residential, but then also talking more industrial type, any ideas on cost for recycling?
for the residents, so we would not take from industrial. What we would do if we had somebody contact us about that, we would probably refer them to our vendor. We will accept from businesses if it's small amounts. If you create solar panels or if you do solar panel installations, we are probably not going to take that from you. If you are a hardware store that has a solar panel that you used and it's dead, then we will take that from you. So I do not know, just because that's something really new. We've actually, that I know of, I've never taken in a solar panel. I know that we will at some point. My mom actually has a giant one from the 80s stored in her garage. You know, everybody in DuPage County's got 3 TVs, old box TVs in their basement, but they're waiting to bring to us, and my mom's got a giant old solar panel. She hasn't made, I don't know, we would have to contact our vendor since.
I was just curious on
Yeah,
cost.
maybe, I don't know, it depends, $10, I mean, it depends because they're all different sizes. So when that starts to come up, then we'll have a set fee on it. When it becomes a regular item, we'll have a set fee on it.
The only thing I would say, you were talking, this is a lot of information. Please keep throwing that on there.
Okay.
Keep it on, I'd like to see that.
Sure.
That's the kind of
I
stuff.
put it together, I put it together for our board, and so I've typically just kind of brought that to council, and I'm like, if you're interested, look at it, if not, please recycle it, go throw it in the trash, recycle it. But, any other questions?
No, thanks.
All right, again, contact me if you have any questions after you look through your stuff, or at any time. Thank you, guys.
Thanks
very much. Here, do you want this one? You want part-time job?
Hello. Hi, Amy. I sent you an email earlier this week with a ton of information. You may or may not have read through that. But I'm here tonight to ask the council to allot or give me the access to $7,000 to pay for some election equipment carts. I don't take it lightly. I think it's really important not to come and ask for more money that I haven't already budgeted or I can't find a solution to. As a general rule, I will not come and ask. I will do without. This is really important, and we need to find a solution. So we have new election equipment cases. So the last time you went to vote, you saw a a case that was opened up with another box that sat inside of it, because it was an additional piece of equipment that the state said we have to use. We volunteered to cover all of our equipment in the past with those pieces of equipment. We weren't mandated to do that, but we volunteered, which got us a lot of free equipment, which is really an added plus. I like to throw it out there that I generated some free equipment that would have cost us a lot in the long run. Either way, the new cases that came in put both of those pieces of equipment in the same box. It makes it a lot easier for poll workers to set up and tear down. They don't have to work with plugins and where they're supposed to plug the machine in to the next piece of machine. Like, it just makes the whole process better. Storing the equipment, setting it up, tearing it down, bringing it back, except for the delivery part. So we have 97 pieces of equipment. Previously, I sent these pictures to you. Previously, we put them in boxes that look like this. We have different amounts of equipment that go to each of our polling sites. These blue boxes we bought from Elkhart County. They were getting rid of them because they went to a new vendor for their equipment. So we bought them for our use, and it worked great. They allowed our equipment to be secure once we left it at the polling location. And that's really important because everybody hears about election equipment and being tampered with. We don't want to leave our equipment sitting in Jasper Middle School gym on Monday night before the election, and they're having basketball practice. I'm not saying anybody at Jasper Middle School is going to tamper with that equipment. I'm just saying I don't want to give them the chance. So if we have them in a box that we can secure, that just eliminates that task. So these blue boxes, we bought them for $1,200 in 2019. We sold them for $1,200 at the end of the year when we didn't need them anymore. The new cases that we got in for our equipment will not fit in these blue boxes. So this was not an option to use anymore. So we got rid of these. We broke even on them. Microvote is our vendor of our equipment, and they didn't have a solution for moving the boxes. Their solution was your delivery people just need to move 97 boxes. So I told our delivery people that, who have delivered our equipment for years in DuBois County, and they said, no, we're not doing it. You can find somebody else. They get paid $15 an hour. They work all day moving our equipment, and it's an important job. Like, that's election equipment. You gotta know who you're leaving it with and what's going on and making sure it gets to the right place. So they built the racks that we had previous to the blue boxes. So they said, let us come up with a solution. Give me some money to play with. Let us come up with a solution, and we'll find a better solution than moving 97 boxes. So I said, I have enough money in my budget that you can build one box, and we'll see if it works. Like, they worked several months trying to come up with a good design. And we kind of based it off of the blue box that we had. We put all of our stuff in one box so they could just unload one box at that location and they could move on. So he built one box, and I sent you pictures of that. And I showed you all of his receipts. We decided it was too big, it was too top heavy, it was skinny and tall, and it wasn't the perfect design. It would work, but it wasn't great. So we determined that we would take off the top section of that, and the extra supplies that are not election equipment would just be put on those open racks that we had from before. So I think that'll work perfectly fine. In their opinion, they thought that was a great fix. But you can see in this box where we can fit 6 of our new cases inside of this box, and they're easy to get in and out. That's the other thing. They have a handle at the top, and there's wheels on the bottom. You wheel it around like a luggage, but it's 52 pounds. If you think, I don't have a problem moving that around because I know how to do it and I work with it a lot. But if you ask some of our poll workers to lift a 52-pound box, it's not going to be an easy task. And we have to be aware of that. So when we find a solution of leaving this box at that location, they got to be able to work with it the next morning when they come in at 5 a.m. to get the stuff out of it and set it up for the election. So I think it's a great idea that our election guys wanted to come up with a solution that works for them. They're the ones moving it. But I'm not opposed to finding other solutions. So in my email, I said that I had reached out to a couple other companies, and I got with, I have some more information since my email. Tri-State Systems was an email that included on my email, and this is just a more industrial wire rack type cart. after looking at their quote, you can't fit 6 boxes in this box, or this cart. So if we bought this cart, we would need 19 carts, which again then becomes a storage issue in the basement. So it's $20,000 when I look at these carts. They probably would last longer than a wooden box. But $20,000 or $7,000 in what I'm asking for is a big difference, and I think that we'll outlive our machines with these wooden boxes. So I think this is a great solution, but I don't think it's the best one for us. That's my opinion on that. I did get a quote from Stack. They have a similar wire rack, and they're a local company. But with their rack, it was a similar size. We would need at least 18, and they were still in the $20,000 range. So I felt like that was the due diligence in reaching out and looking for another solution or another option. It is more pricey. I'm more than happy to take more money if you want to allot it to me, but I didn't know. I mean, that's kind of what I'm here to talk about, what I'm here to ask for. I don't know where to ask you to give me the $7,000 from. I put $1,200 on January 4th into the general fund from those blue boxes. So I don't know how you come up with $7,000 to give me, but I think that we can make the 12 boxes that we need for election equipment out of this wooden, the sample that I sent to you. Questions?
When they were prototyping, did you have to pay them?
I have paid them, or I have put a claim in. It's $734 for what he's put into it, and he assured me that it won't be as much time in the
They'll
future.
try to build it.
Yeah, they'll have an idea of what it is, and he was very mindful of the plywood he was using. Like, he bought 8-foot sheets and he cut them down, and he used every piece of scrap he could on this one box. So I think he's very mindful of the materials and the time that he's allotting to us.
Do you think, are you comfortable with the security of
Yes.
these wooden boxes?
Yes,
I couldn't just get a cordless drill and use special
you
bits
could have done that
for
with
this?
those blue boxes too.
Okay,
I
that's
think
what I'm
it's, I
asking.
think it's the perception. I feel comfortable leaving our boxes at the locations we leave them at. I think that there's another layer of security, but I think that it's secure.
So the Stack and this other systems and boxes,
They'd be great too, but I
but I'm
think
saying there wouldn't be,
Not
you
anymore.
wouldn't be feel any more secure with those than you
No.
would with the properly made other ones.
I would agree. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
And then you had mentioned painting them to make them look better, and then is there a rough edge? I mean, when you move them, they can handle them, it looks like a little,
Yes.
like a wagon.
There was one side that has a pull handle on it, and it was nothing elaborate. It was just a pull handle. When you leave the jail, where they're stored at in the jail, you have to go up a hill. They park the box truck up on the top of the hill, so they pull them up to the top of the hill. One pulls and one pushes. The fiberglass corners on those boxes, you're able to grip it. So one person can grip there and the other person can use the handle. So I think it worked really, I mean, he and I did it. We had 6 pieces of equipment in it. It maneuvered just fine.
Any questions for Amy? Any
So on a
questions?
useful life, you think in probably 3 years. with the-
Oh, many more than that. Yeah, I mean, the old racks, the open racks that we have out at the jail, if I had to guess, they probably are 15 years old and they've been put through the ringer, but we can still use them. I would not want to put the weight of the equipment on there now. We would have to split how we use those racks. But I think for the other supplies, like the boxes that have extension cords and yard signs and that type of stuff, I think it's not that heavy of stuff that we can use those other racks for that purpose. But these new boxes, I think they would last 10 or 15, 20 years. I mean, I feel very confident in the way that they're built that they would last a long time.
Okay, any other questions? I guess we got a question for Sandy then. It seems
Yep.
like it's a different, between Q and CAP and general funds. You put the money in general fund, so would we take it out of there or would we go to Q and CAP?
You could do either, but it'd probably be better. General fund is just, I mean,
We just put it there because it was an oddball
That's-
purchase.
and anytime you get something unknown, general fund's where you go. But if we bought those pieces of equipment years ago out of something, we should have put it back there, but it's hard to know that.
I don't remember
Yeah.
how we come up with that money
Yeah.
back then.
I would propose that we do, if we vote on it, it'd be Hume County then, I think that's. Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, you want to have a consensus of who's in favor of spending $7,000 or appropriating $7,000? Show of hands. Okay, so Amy, thanks for coming in and explaining it, and thanks for all the detail.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably way more than you needed, but I feel it's very important to explain why. I think it's worth the cost.
Absolutely, and I think everybody raised their hands a lot easier and quicker since you guys did your due diligence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from you? So that mean we gotta advertise or what, like, what's our next
It'll,
step?
I'll advertise for the next meeting and then they'll appropriate it next meeting.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, have a good night.
They're phoning.
It is, thank you. Oh, I got too far.
Sandy, do you want to go on to, I guess this temporary case manager, you want to explain it since you sat the meeting here?
I had sent out that email, at the commissioner meeting last week. They approved a temporary part-time position. And so, I don't have this advertised because we had already we already missed the deadline. But I kind of sent you all the information that I had on what they approved. I don't know if you guys had any questions on any of that, but, this is a temporary position to supervise the drug court case manager. If Judge Quinn would come back to work and want to change something, then this position would go away and we'd follow, because Judge McConnell was the previous supervisor.
Okay. So this work really falls on the judge in some way.
It's under the judge's umbrella. If Judge Quinn wants to change something, if he wants to stay with this, we don't really know that answer. So we're just getting a temporary position so we can get a supervisor over this court. I did go to 18, starting on April 23rd, through the end of the year, we'd have 18 payrolls. You kind of see all that. And then I estimated at 2 weeks of comp time. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I know she's kind of doing some of the work now already. So Wyatt is keeping track of her comp time so that we can pay her out for that time.
Do you know what she's classified as? Because the
Pat,
position is Pat 4, right? The extra 5 hours is Pat 4. What is her?
it's exactly what she has now.
Okay, so
The
we're
rate
just
of pay, the
basically adding
position
5
was
hours
exactly
on.
what she's got.
So it's just basically adding 5 hours on to her work.
Correct. Now, I did make the comment, if we're gonna make her in a 40-hour week, we have to change her PTO to be 40 hours, and then we'll come back if she is no longer a 40-hour, and she's aware of all that.
Right, that's what my next question. Is she going to be a 40-hour week, or is this isn't all overtime? This is just.
No, she will
is just
become a
her-
40-hour week job.
So her pay right now is.
If she does earn any comp time, Wyatt's supposed to track if it's his program or if it's this program, so we know which pot to pay her from.
Discussions on this? No one?
And this would come out of the drug court user fee fund,
These extra.
these extra times.
Minus 8,000.
Right.
Okay, so there's no discussion on it.
It's just a consensus if you want me to advertise.
Consensus to advertise this 8767. Okay, let's have a show of hands.
I will have a salary ordinance for us to sign when we approve everything next time.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Well, I just thought it was easier to send it out ahead of time, and
Well,
then you
yeah.
kind of know it.
Yeah.
That's why there's not near as many questions, right?
And I know it probably rambled on, but you know, that's better than, I guess we're on to additionals then.
Additional appropriations.
In the general fund, I need $23,000 for workers' comp insurance. Our insurances have gone through the roof. I'm probably gonna come back and need more building and insurance liability as well. It's just,
So curiosity, it's March, so I'm just saying.
our insurance always renews in February.
Okay, I follow you.
And so we got our insurance bills and it was like, whew, we didn't budget enough.
I follow you.
So I know workers' comp, they do an audit. Sometimes with the audit, we get some money back. Sometimes we owe, depending on our salaries and our payroll. So
Right.
So you were thinking that this was gonna be every 3 months or whatever?
No, I just.
No.
Is that what that question
No.
was to?
No, I was.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, really, 3 months?
No, it's our renewal dates.
Well, it makes more sense. Okay, so any discussion on that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve that $23,000 for out of the general fund for workman's comp.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion. Any other discussion on this?
I need a second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Carries.
Okay, last month, Ryan Young was here for the ambulance, $350,000 out of Cume Cap.
So I think he explained that pretty well. We're buying a new ambulance, technically probably get it in, 2025?
Somewhere in there.
Maybe.
So any discussions on that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to.
I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
Okay, Meredith,
You make it,
Meredith,
Sorry.
make-
I'll second.
and Doug is second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Jesus was here, Chief Deputy Jesus Ramirez was here, talking about needing the sheriff cars, and you guys discussed $250,000 out of Cume Cap.
Any discussion there? I think it came to the commissioners approved them buying it.
They did.
Buying those vehicles, 2 of them are gonna come out of commissary. So. So any other discussions on that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve that 250.
I'll make a motion to approve the 250.
Okay, Carol has made a motion.
I'll second it.
Ryan has seconded. Any other discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I've had some changes since I did this additional for the 16,000. Right now we have a program, we're in a program for total email protection. It keeps our emails protected. It's our Barracuda system. We had a 3-year contract that just expired. The contract we had before let us pay once every year. The one that we have now, there was a 20% discount because we went with it. Now we don't get that discount anymore. We have more users now, and it won't let us do the 3-year. We have to do all 3 years at once. We just found out. So this is only for 1 year. I'm probably gonna need to come back from 2 more years if we go with the 3-year plan. We can stick with a 1 year, but then we're not locked in, and it could raise over the time. So I kind of want your opinion. Do you want me to go ahead and do 1 year now and then advertise for 2 more? Or do you want me to do a 1 year and not do 3 years at one time?
You feel like they're pretty secure?
Our emails?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Because I've seen a lot of instances of county governments and local governments getting ransomed, and I don't know what network for protection they use.
It's everything, it's healthcare, it's everything.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But I mean, I asked him, because our previous bill was 10 or 11 or 12, somewhere in there. And I said, why does it go up so much? Well, then he explained it to me. We have, I don't know, 30 or 40 more users than we had back then. Our emails are not going down, they're only going up.
Is that like where they fish and try to do something?
Is our actual email where if you get email and it goes to spam filters, or it goes to Barracuda catches it before we even let it open it. Some of you guys that have county emails see where you get the Barracuda notification. I get one every day. They come out about 2 or 3 o'clock. I have maybe 100 or 200 in there. It catches that many. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have. But
I don't, it seems to me that maybe, I mean, I know you just learned this out, maybe we would put them all into one, since it's changing that way this year for the 3 years, but I don't know if that makes sense or not.
You're saying it like.
well, you lock in your rate, like this would be our rate for the next 3 years.
How much is the rate?
Right now, it's 15 something. I rounded it up to 16,000.
Okay,
15,000.
3 years would be,
yeah.
45,000.
Yeah.
48 if you.
You pay in 3 years, you don't get your discount then? Or can you get-
well, when we first got it 3 years ago, we had a discount. We don't get that anymore because we're not new.
Yeah.
So that was one of the increases. Another increase was We increased number of emails.
So you don't have to pay the full
No.
45 right now. It's just that you have to
Well,
agree.
They got rid of the 3, they used to let you pay year 1, year 2, year 3. Now they're saying you pay all up front.
And can you price shop this with any other company that could maybe not be as much? And be new again, or no way? Our hands are tied, or?
I don't know that answer. I mean, Barracuda is one of the best out there.
That's kind of what I was getting at. We want to make sure this is the best, obviously, like Alex is talking about. Save a nickel and make a mess.
Right.
But do we know that they're the best?
I don't know enough about it.
That's what I'm saying, I have no idea either.
Is it specific to county government too? Do they cater to that particular area?
I think Barracuda's
Anywhere, anybody. We use Mimecast, that that's why I asked. I don't know if there are, how many players. there
Now,
are.
they did say I could do an option where we could pay over the 3 years, but it's like a finance charge and all
Yeah.
that.
I would say if we pay it 3 years, we should get a discount. We gotta work. Come on.
I mean, I can go back.
You give them 45,000 up front, try it, if we could do it, if that's what we could do.
Well, I think they're saying if we use the 3 years, that is a discount because the price is gonna go up next year and the year after that.
In our users.
And we can have more users and they're locking us in at what we currently have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a,
Time value of money versus inflation.
I'm just gonna tell you, computer stuff is not cheap. It's getting worse.
My biggest concern would be to make sure that we know that we're making the right decision with the right company that's gonna protect us.
And cybersecurity is huge.
Well, that's what the EMA is focused on right now.
Mhm.
Emergency management, they're focused on.
And I'm on that committee with
That's
Tammy.
where
I
their
mean,
grants are.
we are,
So,
There's a committee that kind of determines, is that what you're saying?
Tammy and I are working, we have a cybersecurity, we're getting our cybersecurity plan up to date. We're gonna do some training at our next risk management. I encourage all you guys to come. We're gonna do some training on it. I mean, we are big in focusing on cybersecurity right now. But this is just a layer of protection that emails, I mean,
It catches a lot of emails,
it catches a lot.
anything that doesn't seem right or come from.
And sometimes it catches ones you want.
Yeah,
Yes.
sources of, things like-
But you could go in there and then you can tell it, no, deliver this one.
so,
So, I mean, I just kind of, I talked with Chad a little bit about it. He thought maybe we should go with the 3 year, but it was up to you all with the county and money. Like I said, I advertised before I got the whole picture.
I think, personally, I think maybe we're gonna lock in the price.
I do.
I don't know much that gets cheaper, and if we're happy with it,
I just did a quick Google search.
yeah, what is that?
They weren't on the top 5 or 10. They, Barracuda, there's a Halo, Lotto, Alto, Cisco.
Who's in charge of like picking this? Who picks this system?
Well, I'm sorry, I probably did.
No, I'm just curious who makes that decision.
Matrix it recommends.
No matrix.
No,
I mean, if we could help, or, I would help if you'd want, maybe try to find another one just to try to work it, if that would help at all, or.
Well, I can go back and ask Ron to start looking again.
I just think we'd have a little leverage, and I can help you too if you need any help with any of this. Just try, and good for a year maybe or whatever, but I just think maybe one other option. It's just my thought. I'm fine with it if everyone's happy, but I think another option is not bad. I don't know what all that entails.
Sandy, that's your email only, not operating system, right?
That's just
This
total
is-
email protection. It's our email.
I just searched cybersecurity companies. So
Were you
I
on
don't know.
TikTok or?
Google search. It doesn't say how much they charge or what they cover or anything like that. So it may not even be apples to apples.
And I don't know, so I don't
We would
know.
have to probably get more in depth into.
I'll reach back out to him.
Well, I know I get those emails coming through too from Barracuda. I always think that Benatar.
When does your decision have to be made?
Well, I'm gonna have to advertise for the next meeting, or this contract's gonna be due in, I think it's the end of April. I think April 30th is our end of our contract.
Let me back up here. Is the company our decision, or is that the commissioners that they wanna go with?
The
We're
contract,
only paying for it, right?
Yeah.
Mine's
It's a
They would
nice
sign the
decision to go
contract.
for, So we're,
they would sign the contract, but if you don't fund it, I guess it's a,
Okay. Well, that's.
So we're not the ones that decide which one to go with.
What
We're
company
just-
to go
Yeah.
There you go.
Just say one other.
So we're paying it or not paying it. So if they say we're going with this one, we have to.
Mike just muddied the water.
That makes sense, right? Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking too, you know, Matrix isn't cheap. To have them spend a whole bunch of time on it, they're probably gonna build, those are probably billable
I don't
hours.
know, it depends, because the sales is a little different than the service.
Mhm.
The sales guy isn't related to the service guy.
I mean, we can keep.
But if we appropriate
Then
funds
look
for it,
future,
we can still use a
you know,
different company.
Reevaluate it for next year.
So if,
You know,
I just want to make sure
approve
we
this.
have some kind of spam filter or some kind of email filter.
How soon do you have to lock that in before you leave?
Well, I think our current contract ends, I think, April 30th.
if the decision is whether we do 1 year or 3 year, I would, if the commissioners have recommended and you guys have recommended going Barracuda, I'm thinking go to 3 and lock the prices in and go be done.
But in theory, we could lock it in for 3, have that money there, and you could still.
Well, I gotta pay it all up front
She has to
now.
pay it up
But you'd
front.
have a month, knowing she has $45,000 to
Well-
lock into any system, if the commissioners approved it, for 3 years.
I think that's where I'm getting lost. Are they already saying, we want this one, we have no control? I mean, we, as a council, don't.
But it's, I think it's.
No,
commissioner's
Chad and I just
decision.
talked about it, we didn't bring it up in a meeting.
How to pay for it and so on.
Because when they, I was under the assumption we could do it the old way, pay 1 year, pay 1 year, pay 1 year, and it wasn't. But
So I need a,
I mean, I'd be in favor of having that money set, but I still think it'd be nice to maybe get another option, but knowing we've approved the budget. Knowing the money is there, so you can make that decision, but I think maybe we could find something else.
I'll call back and talk to him again.
And just curious. and just
He
curious.
did go back, originally it was more, and he went back and he talked to him and got him.
so I'm just thinking,
It's
you
just-
only appropriate, or you're asking for an appropriation of 16,000. So
Which was 1 year,
1 year.
until I realized he couldn't give me 1 year without this finance
So we
thing
meet
for
on
3.
what, the 23rd, I think, no, 24th of April.
And I knew I had a little time.
So, I mean, could we do it this way if, you'd have to make another,
Well, if you appropriate just this, I'll do the difference for next month, and I can learn more.
and then you
by
could
then.
learn them, so we could just approve this 16,000 now, that we could go ahead and keep the security going, and then we'd have an option to talk about it again next.
We can modify it next meeting and then get it paid on
Because
time.
she could have more
She could be
information.
one another have talked, maybe that's all we got. I'd be fine with that.
So.
And then you could always have Ron get on the phone and talk to you guys if that's what you want to.
Or maybe he just knows it's the best we're gonna get. I don't know. There's just gotta be.
You know, there's a lot of things, this is over my head on a lot of things, and I have to depend on them to know what's
Yeah.
out there.
I just know it's really competitive in the security as a service sector. So I'd say you might be able to negotiate even if you keep that network
I
a
think
little
we could.
bit.
I think,
Everybody and their brothers doing it, it's fiercely competitive.
I can do that.
Well, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 16,000.
yeah, I would do that motion. That's 16.
So Ryan has made a motion, and I have a second.
1 second.
Doug has seconded, so any other discussion? So all in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed?
Just the amount of money we do in licensing and keeping the system going,
That's the server.
it doesn't get cheaper. Okay, the next thing I have is the local assistance tribal community funds that we talked about. We got 50,000 right now. We have not gotten the next 50. I had to submit a report that was due tomorrow. I think it was due today. For what we've done with this money so far, which was a big zero. We haven't spent anything yet. So this will give us the option, the appropriation to start spending it. We talked about doing like carpet or chairs or things for the courthouse.
You're not paying Messersville out of that.
The air conditioner, that would come out of here. We talked about some of those things last meeting. This is just
We're still-
appropriating.
So we're just appropriating it here, that we can spend it on items that are for, are we gonna come back to the council with every one of them then?
I think right now we just did the air conditioning.
And there's one other thing that he
the lawn,
Yeah, the landscaping.
landscaping.
What's the box? Is that part of that too, the locks, the electric one?
No, that was Amy, wasn't it, her?
Okay.
something?
Well, Amy kind of made that comment that she'd
Yeah.
like those.
Wasn't it, weren't we gonna put it towards
Yeah,
that?
that's
I mean,
why we use those funds.
I just did a generic 50,000 line item,
Because that's
for
what's in the
courthouse.
fund, right?
right?
So we just have to approve it going to that.
So I didn't know, do you want me to bring things to you to use for this money? Do you, I mean,
I'll let the council figure that out. I'm kind of involved in it because I know the expenditures, but if you want to know what that's, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
50,000, it's gonna go quick with
It will
the
go
cost of
quick.
this stuff.
I mean,
I mean, the two carpets in the quarters and the other was like 16,000.
Right.
To do.
And the air conditioning unit
that was 5,
seven.
6 something.
Yeah.
The landscaping was 7 something,
So now
I
we're,
mean-
we're really only looking at monitoring the last.
When some of this.
plus the next
some of this
50 when it
judges as
comes.
well.
Well, that's some of the money they're getting quotes on Amy's door and that door.
Yeah.
And then, and the electronic hardware on it.
Okay,
And, I mean, that's, and, we talking today, it's probably gonna be running out of money pretty soon.
yeah, well, isn't that part of that though, up in the,
That's,
court, circuit court? Isn't that part of that too? the
Well,
carpeting and circuit
we
court?
talked about carpeting.
it's just a lot of, there's a lot of requests and not enough money, let's just put it that way. So, I mean, I think we were looking at the doors and security first.
Okay, good.
And we were gonna try to finish.
Well, the air conditioner and the landscaping,
That's done, that's already.
Yes.
that's already been approved,
That's
so.
right. That's right, that was the last.
So it's just really, it's a matter of right now just transferring it to,
It's just a matter of using this fund.
yeah, using the fund to be able to do it, so. Any questions on that or any more discussion? So it's really just,
So when we get the next 50, we'll do the same thing.
I'll appropriate it and we'll talk about it. But I mean, like Mike looked at chairs, we looked at court, I mean, it's
there's just
gone.
so many requests, we just kind of, it's not enough money. You know,
There's more requests than money.
Right, I mean, that's the problem with it. So it's gonna, I think we have to look at what's priority.
Yeah.
And probably security, to me, is, is one of the,
Yeah.
one of the most.
So what do you need from us to appropriate that 50?
I need a motion to approve 50.
I would give the motion, because we've already discussed it. We've got the plan.
So, we got a motion on the floor, need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, Meredith is seconded, so any other discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Okay,
It's a tough-
auditors and eligible deductions. There is a fund, when we find people that have a homestead and they aren't eligible for it, we can back bill them. And that money, part of it goes to the state, part of it goes to an auditors and eligible fund deduction. There is some money in there now that, I have a little over 6,000 in there now. That money can only be used to supplement things for homestead or my office. So what I would like to do is get that appropriated so that I can get double monitors. We're about one of the only offices that don't have 2 monitors. I'd like to use some of that money for our office to get that.
Hell yeah, it's hard to work with one.
Yeah, and we are one of the only offices that still
How do you
have.
find someone that doesn't have a homestead? How do you go about that?
Say you have one here and you have one in a different township,
Florida.
or you've moved out and you didn't tell us, and we go through deductions every year and we find them. Sometimes we find them a year or 2 later, but then we can go back and back bill you for them. And then that money that you collect, like I said, can go in this fund. We
So
don't
you
have-
don't find too many.
We
only have
don't.
6,000, right?
We don't, we are very fortunate. There's some counties that tell me how they have hundreds of thousands of dollars in theirs, and we're like, we go through ours every year, so we're pretty diligent on going through them and finding them, and I have to give kudos to Chris in my office. She searches the databases, she'll search other states, so.
Does this happen, I mean, you think 6,000 a year you get?
Oh, no, we've had this fund for several years.
And you're like 6,000?
Yeah, and we even used a company, it's been, Kathy was the auditor, and then, so it's been over 5 years ago. We used a company and they scrubbed our stuff and didn't hardly find anything. They went through our files. So there are companies out there that will do it. But we pretty prideful on, we
You're
take
on.
care of our deductions. We're not always 100% perfect, but
I'd give you that motion to go buy 2 monitors.
Yeah.
How much money do you think it is?
for 6 people to have 2 monitors and then I have to get a stand, I don't know, not much. I mean, but if I had 6,000, and like I said, it can only be used in my office, so.
Do you,
Yeah, I might have a little left for some carpet.
do you need an amount appropriated or?
I just appropriated 6,000.
I'd appropriate, I would make a motion for the 6,000 for use for
Office supplies, so we got a motion on the floor to spend of that $6,000. Alex seconded, so any other discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Yeah, I don't have to, so I don't know what it's gonna be like.
It's a game changer. I couldn't survive.
For what you're doing, I can't imagine.
No way.
The second one.
Never had it. We have monitors that are probably 10 years old in our office.
And your CPU, your towers are.
Towers are newer.
And they
Monitors
got
are
the
not.
dual monitor, they're able to.
We'll make it work.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything's DVD and all that now, so it should
I'll
be.
only have one spot.
Well, no. I have one. Chris does have 2 because of mapping, but
Enjoy it.
Okay, going on,
I'll tell you what it's like when I get it.
going on to some other issues. We did get some information on the wage study that we were looking at countywide and the sheriff's department. So we met a couple hours the other morning, last Tuesday, and we kind of went through it. And I'll try to get it together. I may just try to get you guys a hard copy. It's hard to read on. We're gonna print it out. I'll try to get those. Mark, you put some input in it. We've done some counties, with the longevity pay, with the whole kind of. I like to look at the whole thing, but I think then at some time when you guys have a little time to look at it, then I think maybe we could break down and look at it again in different committees.
A lot of great information in there.
Yeah.
I went through that again the other night.
So at least we're starting it. So and there's not a in some ways I think it maybe someone feels different, but I mean to change wages and stuff in the middle of the stream here, I'm not really for it. I'd really rather wait till budget time. So but again, we get these comments and look at them. Okay, the only meeting I attended was one of the only meetings I attended was the jail meeting, and it's still going well out there. And I think you guys get copied on the minutes. So if anyone else wants to report on any meeting that they've had, you're welcome to report on it. So
I had a 911 meeting last week before last. It was kind of a last minute thing. It was an additional one to the quarterly one we usually have. Talking about staffing, update on the training, how the new employees are kind of making their way. They're doing pretty well. They foresee another need to hire. I think one employee is going to go and create another position. There an opening.
Update, they lost one this week too.
That may be the same person. Huh? Addition.
Additional.
We're going to need 2 employees to hire
One's
again.
one's
possibly.
leaving in the summer, I think.
He's for the state police or something like that, or some sort of. So we're probably going to need to go and do the hiring process again for 2 new employees. Stuart talked about the additional traffic, the additional calls coming in, and workload. Kind of went into detail about additional calls aren't just additional calls, it's additional work that goes into them. So depending on where they come from, they could do reports for the clerk's office or for the judges and stuff like that. And those are things that they do in between getting those calls and trying to get everything done. And there's time limits on a lot of those things as well. So with that and the increase in all of that, it was discussed on possibly creating a couple of new positions, needed positions, and having a supervisor for the different shifts. It's just the move to the jail kind of is showing that it's going to be needed most likely. And with the request from the sheriff's department for new officers, and with that new amount of incoming calls and stuff like that, he foresees a need for new employees to be added, 1 per shift, so 2 new employees he wants to have 4 full positions on the night shift, which is the busier shift, and then 3 full positions on the day shift, and then 1 supervisor for each shift. So that would increase by 2 or 3 positions. Also talked about the equipment that we're going to be getting, need to replace when we go to the new to the jail. Getting quotes for that and working with the vendors and stuff to get it as low as possible and just exactly what we need, not taking what the vendors say, get this, and we'll do we really need it. So he went through all of that. He'll present with the new hires and stuff, or his proposal with different things and the reasoning behind it. He did a really good job on saying, I think we need these, and this is the added traffic and workload from the previous so many years. So he gave a history about it. So just be prepared for him to come in and kind of go over the more specifics about that. Different programs and stuff, fire, text response, and different things needing updated and stuff. So it was just kind of general after that, but those are the kind of the big points.
Thanks, I hate to hear. If he didn't lose another one, but it sounds like he might have, but.
Yeah, I mean, we knew of the one that was possibly going to go in the summer, but apparently new to me this in the last couple minutes.
Just lost this week.
So when you say, so everybody understands when you say new, it's going to be 2 additional or a few additional?
We'll have to replace these 2 current employees, and then we'll need
Basically, I think he's requesting 3 new
He's
positions.
requesting 3, 2 dispatchers and 1 supervisor position. He already has the person already in there, so there'll probably be 3 new dispatchers full time. He'll just move the 1 to a supervisor role.
It was one of the new ones.
Emily, no, was that? I mean,
No, that's not it.
Okay, pull this up real quick.
Anyway,
Okay. Anyone else?
Emily Lewis.
Yeah.
She's currently
it's not her.
filling the supervisor position.
Yeah, so Community Corrections Board met, main topic was the medication policy. You know, like what tier of drug it is, can you self-administer it? Is the person on charge administering it? So they clarified that. JRAC met afterwards. They conducted their annual survey for our opinions, where the money needed to be spent, and then they applied for the grant, health and wellness grant. That was mainly the 2 key areas. I think Allison Neal is requesting, she talked to Chad about a USI person maybe being an employee, like working with them. So Chad's working on that. I don't know the details.
They are working on that grant or that contract.
Yeah, that contract. So other than that, that was pretty well it.
Okay, well, thanks.
We did apply for the grant. We got it done the other day.
Okay.
Jenny and I got it done with, what's her name, Lena's help.
And that was that when we talked about last month, about the different requests for different bicycles and whatever.
Yeah.
I think
I
it,
think so.
yeah,
I didn't,
at about 5 or 6 points, I think. Meredith, anything?
No, I'll have a meeting for Region 15 on April the 15th, so our next meeting, I'll go report back.
I did, but Carla presented it for me.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Other than, before we close down, that small group meeting for the regional sewer district,
Yes.
I know you said you're gonna be on it.
I'm part of
You're
that.
gonna go, okay, so you'll be there. Since all that's in my district and I've got some special interests and I field calls and stuff, would it be possible if I could be there at that meeting?
I just don't want to No, that's great.
That's right, but I didn't know if, we just might as well talk about it, then make sure there's only 3 there. But I would love to be able to participate in that.
That's great.
That's great. Is there anyone else that wants to go or wants to attend?
I don't think they favored the day on that day. She said it's April the
11th.
11th at 1 o'clock.
And it's down here in the conference room down below there. Thanks for the reports, you guys. I think that really helps the council stay on board with what's going on. Appreciate it. So, public comment? Nothing? So our next meeting is April 24th. Anybody's, any other business to take care of tonight? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
Make the motion.
Second.
Doug and Ryan. The meeting is closed.
Yeah.